This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Southern Black Forest. But before that, this video is brought to you by CBW Farms LLC and Carrie Mullins. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Southern Black Forest map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Let me read you some of the description. Welcome to the edge of the Southern Black Forest. At 700 meters above the sea level, my first map in LS is roughly a replica of my home village and its surroundings, but with many realistic elements. It was important for me to bring a lot of realism while keeping the structure of the map as simple as possible. Most farms here in the region are mixed, i.e. arable farming, grassland, and forestry in the winter. You start as an ambitious organic farmer with modern machines. The camps are good as empty, and lush meadows are waiting for you to be mowed. The grain isn't long coming either, so you've got your hands full. Fortunately, the local agriculture machinery dealer is a regular colleague of yours and allows you to make use of his combine. Now, what awaits you on the map are 3 farms, organic, conventional, and horses. There is a contractor yard, 254 lands to buy, 36 forest areas, various sell points and productions. There's also water at the local pond. The terrain is modeled from Google Earth. This map does support precision farming with the generic soil map. There is multi-terrain angle added, and that is what is likely making this a PC-only map. And in order to use the manure heaps, the map author says, please sell once and buy again. Now, also there is a note related to a mod that is listed in the description as a required mod, but on the actual website is not flagged as a required mod. That is the Class Dominator 108 SL Maxi from Giants. Now, I did not try to load the map up with that mod missing to see if it would force me to download it, but the way the description is listed, it likely will allow me to load the map up without that, because it says if you do not use this mod, basically you will not see the harvester down at the shop that is available for your use. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use the mods that we typically use when we take a look at maps. They are additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. And of course, we do have the Class Dominator 108 SL Maxi selected. Now, I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find that all the farms are built out exactly how you see them here in new farmer mode. The only difference is you do not own any land, nor do you have any starting machinery in those alternate play modes. And when we load in here, we load up actually at a little bit of a bus stop, kind of toward the center of the map. Let's go ahead and take a look at that PDA. And I'd say one of the first things that's going to stand out on this map is the high abundance of fields and the close proximity of all of those fields to each other. They're all kind of toward the middle of the map, with the exterior being the dark forest. Now, we do not have all the standard crops available to us. In fact, we are missing cotton and sugarcane from the crops listing. Let's go ahead and take a look at our lands. You're going to see we start out by owning farmland ID 126, 32, 127, 38, 50, 51, 52, and 53. Farmland ID 1 is our main starting farm. That can be bought in any alternate play mode for $1.5 million. Farmland is not cheap here on this map. We also have farmland 85, 86, 63, 7, and 60. Let's get away from this. Get away from that flag there for a minute. Now let's talk about some of the other farms. We have a cow farm at farmland ID 3. That can be bought for $2.8 million. We have a horse farm at farmland ID 2. That can be bought for $1.6 million. We also have pigs available at farmland ID 74. $41,000. And we have sheep available at Farmland ID 73. That can be bought for $234,000. Lastly, here at Farmland ID 4, we have an arable area or maybe a contractor yard, however you want to look at it, $4.6 million for that yard. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. It's going to show us all of the farmlands that we buy or have available for sale, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included, and then ultimately how much is that farmland going to cost us. As you can see, the vast majority of these farmlands are less than 2 hectares in size. There are some larger farmlands, of course, but there are a substantial amount of fairly small plots of land. They are also still rather expensive given their size as well. Now we're going to go ahead and then cross-reference all of these farmlands with the actual fields themselves by taking a look at our field calculator screen. And while this is showing us the farmland size, field calculator screen is going to show us the exact specific size of each particular field. Then, of course, when you want to see how much that one particular field is going to cost based on its size, you then go back over to the farmland lease screen to get a general idea. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how that generic soil map is being applied to these fields. As we have come to love and know, we have the generic soil map here with silty clay kind of swathed up to the north, as well as down to the south and over to the east. And then with the center of the map being loamy sand and sandy loam. If we take a look at our crop counter, we do have the standard base game crop counter available to us on this particular map. And as we take a look at our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the base game crops that are included on this particular map. Remember, cotton and sugarcane have been removed. In addition, we do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, as well as our silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we continue to move down and take a look at our base game production items, we once again do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game production items as well here on this particular map. And then we also have the ability to buy bulk lime. And we do also have the ability to sell stones at 2 different locations. We do not have the ability to sell any other platinum expansion items. So if you are looking to do platinum expansion, you would need to put down your own particular sell point. But rest assured, if you are playing with pumps and hoses, you will also be able to get rid of your separated manure. Take a look at our starting fleet. Our starting vehicles are all well maintained and are all brand new. None of them are leased. Now, with respect to our starting animals, I had to manually expose the soil map. Typically, I use a command for that, but the command does not like it when there are massive amounts of farmlands. So I had to buy each and every one of them individually, which meant that I had to own the land. Now, when you start out in a new farm mode, the only thing that you have are the cows here. You have 20 cows at this cow shed, Limousine, Holstein, and Brown Swiss. But as far as other animals on the map, there are horses, sheep, as I mentioned earlier. We have chickens and pigs. We do have contracts available on the map. There are no contracts showing up because, again, I had to buy all the fields in order to expose the soil map. We also do have production on the map. Now, we would typically not have this greenhouse in new farmer mode, but again, I had to buy all of the farmlands in order to expose the soil map, and that is why this is showing up. But we will show where this particular greenhouse is located during the fly around and drive over. And then we do not have any collectibles on this map. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the Fendt Vario 314 and the Favret 515C small tractor. We have the AB CC66 mower of doom, walk behind mower. We have the Kloss Karat 140 TD trailer, as well as the Pottinger Servo 25 plow. We have our Torino 3FX cultivator. We have the NK25 NS3030 Cedar Power Harrow combination. We have the Hall DST16 manure spreader, as well as the Super Sys 800 slurry spreader. We have the Pneumatic Star 900 weeder, as well as the Novacat 301 AM ED Pro front mower. We have the GF8712 tedder, as well as the Swado TS970 windrower. We have the Faro 4010D Pottinger forage wagon, the Fendt Rotunda 160V Combi round baler wrapper combination, the Anderson RMB 2000 round baler trailer, the 144ND forestry trailer for hauling our logs. We have the Pro Chop 150 straw shredder, as well as the Q7M front loader arms. For the front loader arms, we have a universal bucket, manure fork, big bag lifter, and bale spike. Then we round it all out with a 750 and 650 kilogram front weight. With respect to mods and DLCs, this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements, but we do, of course, have a class dominator that is listed as a required mod in the description. With that, let's go ahead and just tab burst into our Kloss harvester. Now over to our starting farm. This is our main starting farm. We have our farmhouse here. We have a dog. We've got some chickens. Chicken coop. So we have our eggs, buy point, our feed point. Now this is one of the manure heaps that the description mentioned. Really didn't work at the start for some reason, so they suggest selling it and putting it back down. That will work for this farm, but it's not going to work for every farm. There's another farm where I tried to sell the manure heap and it just would not sell. We have our base game cow area here, so we have our slurry point. Inside, of course, we have our food and straw triggers. And then on this side, we have our milk, as well as our cow delivery triggers. We've got some easy sheds. We've got a 3-bay vehicle garage. And we've got a little shed here. And that is pretty much the starting farm. Not a lot going on here. You can see right down the street from the Kloss dealership. Let's get a little bit of altitude. And I have to say the terrain on this map is really, really nice. Rolling hills all over the place. You may want to up by some of your tractors though. I'm kind of surprised that they're both small tractors given the rolling nature of these fields. Something else you're going to notice is all of these fields are extremely close together. They're going to be fairly easy to merge together to form larger fields. But it's also, you're going to need, if you use AI help, you're going to want to keep track of your AI helpers pretty closely because, well, I can see them kind of jumping from one field to the next if you own adjacent fields. And next thing you know, well, you've just plowed up a field that you just seeded because you weren't paying attention. And the hired helper, well, they just continued on with the program. So we have our main starting farm right here. As I mentioned, we have our vehicle dealer just kind of to the south of that. We have the horse farm kind of right up the hill from our cow farm that is located right here. Make our way to the kind of southeast. We have a bale and pallet storage. We have a not sheep area. This is a pig area. Kind of to the west of the vehicle dealer. Down below we have one of our 2 stone crushers. We have our sawmill. As far as production goes, this map has 3 productions built in. We have the sawmill, we have a carpentry, and then we have the single greenhouse. This is the second cow farm, And this particular facility, I could not sell the manure heap, nor could I sell the 2 pull-through silage bunkers, but I could get rid of everything else. Now, directly in front of us, we have what I'm calling the contractor yard. This is where the greenhouse is located. If you buy this land, you'll have the greenhouse. So a large vehicle shed on this side of the road. And on the alternate side of the road, we have a wash bay. And here we have that greenhouse. Kind of like how this field just really falls away with the land. Coming up here to the extreme northeast, we have several sell points, as well as a sheep area. Now, this sheep area is missing a couple triggers visually. I believe I know where they are because I was doing some experimentation before I started recording on the map, and we'll show you those in the drive around portion. But I do hope that this gets updated in the future, such that those food, water, and wool spawn triggers are clearly indicated. So we move across the northern part of the map. We'll just kind of look to the south. Again, you can see how all of these fields could easily be merged together into one massive field, because for the most part, the roads that are splitting these fields are just painted on, other than, of course, the main road here with traffic. I have a couple little areas here where we have some waterways defined. And now we'll quickly make our way back to our vehicle dealer, where we'll jump into our Mahindra and drive around the map and just kind of check out all the sell points and all the farms in a bit more detail. Down here at the Kloss dealer, we have our maintenance trigger, our dealer trigger, if you will, located here on the outside. It's where we're going to be able to buy, sell, trade, repaint, repair our vehicles and implements. And then once we go on the inside, we'll have our shop trigger. Like these kind of little info signposts scattered around. A nice little way of making this dealer look a bit different than the other Kloss dealers we may have seen on other maps. So here's where our vehicles are going to spawn in at. Kind of a small area, given the number of fields and everything that we have here. I would have expected this to be a little bit bigger. Not too narrow of an entry or exit to the shop, but again, once we get out of the shop, these roads are pretty darn narrow, and we have seen traffic. So we do have traffic on some of these rather narrow lanes. Going directly to the west from the shop, we have this pig area. We have 2 small sheds and a small pig area that is base game. So we have our food, our water, and our pig drop-off point. We are able to sell everything at this particular area. I'm going to be trying to look at this mini map down here a fair bit, making sure that I am meandering around where all the triggers are. Here we have the bale and pallet storage. Let's follow this road and see where it takes us. Get a good kind of sense the flow of the land as well by doing this. Now, I believe I know where this is located, Blackforest. I've heard that referenced a few different times on other kind of German-based maps. And overall, it is a rather lovely area for an agricultural-based farming map. Just kind of the rolling land, hills, and everything. And when I was clearing the soil map, there are a lot of really small fields compared to others, especially right down here, kind of central where I'm located. Here we have one of our stone crushers. Oh, really loud. Here, let me get out of here. It's really loud. And then we have our starting farm located right here. Then down from the stone crusher, we have our sawmill. So we have our interactive icon. We have our dump point for our logs, our wood cell trigger. We have our wood chip point. Let's see if I skipped over and missed our pallet spawn markings. Coming around back. No, I don't really see anything marked. So that is a little bit of a disappointment. Continue to make our way around here. Totally, this is going to be a small machinery map. Totally. The way these tight roads are, these really small fields. Now, you know, as you get maybe a little bit more to the west and north, fields kind of open up a bit more, but overall, I think you can do a fair bit of work with the small machinery. So here we have our second cow farm. We have our farmhouse. We've got a large equipment shed over here to our right. We have our cow area to our left. We have a fuel point around the back. We have two pull-through bunkers. I've already mentioned I could sell everything here except the pull-through bunkers and the manure heap. Couldn't get rid of the manure heap. I tried to sell it. I had tried to demolish it. Nothing I did would let me get rid of that. So hopefully that can get corrected in an update. We're going to give the map at full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such. We're also going to be giving the map at full point with respect to the ability to sell all of our animals, animal outputs, crops, and productions. And we have a pizzeria restaurant sell point. Then right across the street from that, we have a grocery sell point. The delivery van looping through the parking lot. We have an electric charging station. Yeah, traffic on these narrow roads. Definitely want to be paying attention. So we got a soccer field, aka football field over here. Practice field, a couple volleyball courts. We have a competition space over here on our right. Right by the contractor yard. So here in the contractor yard, we got a large machine shed to our right on this side of the street. And on this side of the other side of the street, we have our garden, greenhouse, another large area. Now, with respect to buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique, I'll be giving the map a full point there as well. They are all buildings from the various FS22 base maps. As far as the farms being customizable, we are going to have to take a little bit of point off here and there because of the fact that that's a dead-end road. Because of the fact that we have, well, some things on those farms that we just can't get rid of. You will find utility poles scattered through the fields. Those do not have collisions. And we're coming over here to kind of a bulk of sell points. We have the sheep pasture here on the hillside. And again, visually, they do not have markers other than the sheep buy marker. I don't even know if we even know how to get in here. Are these sheep supposed to just be deco? Quite possibly. They're just supposed to be deco. But if you can't get in here, right, you can buy some more sheep. Right there. They are going to be taking food and water. But you'll notice there's no visual indicator where food and water is going to spawn. This is an area where the wool spawn trigger is, I believe. I don't know how well it's going to spawn at this kind of an angle, but this is how I was able to find the food trough and the water trough. And that was, I enabled kind of the collision markers. And there's a collision right here for what is the food trough. See, I'm running into it right now. Then this is the collision marker for the water trough. So it would be nice to see this get opened up so it's usable. I think it may be intended as simply deco, but if you do buy Field 73, it is going to be coming with this particular sheep area. So here we have the ability to buy seed, lime, mineral feed, solid fertilizer, road salt. We have a sell point for our potatoes, chopped sugar beet, as well as grain. We have our second stone crusher also over here. And I think that is pretty much the map. There is one, kind of two areas, one to the extreme south and one to the extreme west. I don't think we're going to drive to them specifically. We'll go ahead and pull that up on the map here. So this is the forest mill. This is going to be a grain sell point, since we do not have a flour mill on the map. And then down here to the extreme southeast, this is the proper sawmill. So we have our pallet spawn point. We have our wood drop off, our interactive icon, our wood chip point. So that's going to mean that this was the carpentry and wood trade that I initially was saying was our sawmill. And a carpentry wood trade is going to bring in wood, and it's going to get rid of wood chips. So we have our wood drop off here, and we have our wood chip spawn point. So we're not missing any sort of trigger here. So overall, we're going to give this map a score of 4.75 out of 5. We took a quarter point off with respect to the farms being customizable. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of revise my score for trigger and interactive areas being clearly marked with just a quarter point as well, because we clarified this area. So that's going to give the map, again, a score of 4.5 out of 5. I would love to know what you all think of Southern Black Forest. I kind of like it. I'm a little concerned about how close these fields are together. I mean, they literally are right there, like inches apart. Hired helpers are going to just make it just a royal mess of adjacent fields if you own adjacent fields. So I would highly suggest kind of bordering your fields manually, and then hiring your helper if you're going to use a helper to kind of fill in the field work. But also it would make merging these fields into much larger fields significantly easier, because you don't have trees in between them for the most part. And other than the road here where we have traffic, all these other roads that split these fields, they're all painted, right? Very easily. You can just plow over that and use crate fields, and you're good to go. Until next time, happy farming.